Welcome to A&Q. If this is your first time with us, you might be thinking, God love them, they got the name backwards. They meant to say Q&A. Well, here at A&Q, we know that a lot of the time the answers we get often lead to more questions, and this is what this series is all about. So at the end of this, or maybe even in the middle of this video, don't be surprised if you're left with more questions. That's okay. Keep asking, keep seeking. We believe that that's what God invites each of us to do. Today, we're going to look at the question, what does the Bible say about aliens? Now, right off the bat, I can tell you that the answer is pretty straightforward. If we're talking about strange lights from unidentified aircrafts in the sky, or classified government documents, or reports of little green creatures from outer space walking among us, well, then the Bible has nothing to say on that subject. In fact, the only time the word alien comes up in Scripture at all is when it refers to someone or a group of people being alienated. The Bible has a lot to say about the alienated, the marginalized, foreigners, refugees, the outcasts, but it says nothing about extraterrestrials as we would think of them in our science fiction stories today. Now, you might say to yourself, sure, yeah, but the universe is so huge and vast, and we can't be the only intelligent life out there, right? Well, that's a fair question. And while the Bible doesn't directly answer it, it does make this point abundantly clear, that God is the creator of everything, both seen and unseen in our universe and beyond. And we see this truth echoed in the earliest pages of Scripture. Creation points to a creator, and the sovereign hand of our creator God has been at work throughout all of our history. Now, Paul, one of the most important thinkers in Christian theology, really doubles down on this truth. In one of his letters, he explains that God created all things, but get this, he insists that God created things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible. Now, there's a lot packed into that statement, but it means that there is an invisible spiritual world that God created, which overlaps with the physical that we can see and hear and feel and touch. And I bet that leads to more questions. But here's what you need to know. This verse and others like it make it clear that all that we see in our world and beyond comes from our Creator God. So, is there intelligent life on other planets? I don't know. The jury's still out. The Bible is mostly concerned with our planet and our history. But I can tell you this. If one day there is discovered life on other planets, it will not shake my faith or my trust in my God, because it is the same God who created me that created them, if they exist. And the incredible news is that God is in the business of renewing and restoring and reconciling all things, from blades of grass to leaping ladybugs, from shooting stars to far-off planets, reconciling all of this back to himself through what Jesus did on the cross. I've come to put my trust in that God for my life, and I'll still trust him whether or not there's any other life forms in the universe. Now, I warned you that you'd probably have more questions. Maybe they're about science and faith, or maybe about angels, or this whole invisible world that I was talking about, or maybe it's something else. But whatever it is, post those questions in the comments, subscribe, and stick with us on this A&Q journey, and we'll see you next time.